Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 Daily Masters cast. It's going to be an awesomely long ZvZ game here today for you guys, so I just thought I'd check it out. This is from my to-do list, which is where I save all of the replays, which look like they're going to be extremely awesome. So I decided to grab one of those, and let's start off by introducing the players. Up the top right side of the map is Mr. ByuL. He is 21 years of age from South Korea, plays for the incredible Miracle team, and yeah, he's quite awesome. So looks like he's going for a pull before hatchery right here, but not too late on the timing. It's not a huge map, and it looks like Revival is going for the same thing over here, a pull before hatch build. And of course it is Revival, as I just said. He is 22 years of age from South Korea, sponsored by CM Storm, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out. Now, we do have a hatch coming straight out from Revival after the pull. ByuL, not so much. He's gotten this gas out. He's pumping a lot of workers into there. He's only just now getting the hatchery, so a little bit delayed in order to get that early gas. So maybe looking at some sort of very early ling speed or potentially a early baneling nest coming out of ByuL. Whereas Revival looks like he's going for something a little bit more standard, just with obviously the early defensive advantage afforded to him by having that pull before hatch build. So, it's going to be interesting. He's saving up, so we'll see at 100 gas whether or not the ling speed starts to come out. I don't know how much the baneling nest costs, but I think it's approximately 100 gas as well. Maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, but there we go. Ling speed coming out. So ByuL going to be doing some very, very, very early harassment or just full-on attacks against Revival in this game. And Revival is going to have some lings, but it's very, very much a, looks like a macro push for him at the moment. Saving all that stuff. May even be thinking about a third base or just a ton of queens maybe. So he's doing pretty good. He's got a slight worker advantage at the moment. Probably going to be pushing that, but of course still getting quite a few lings together to make sure that he can defend his base. He can get a bit of scouting off. ByuL is going to get the very, very nice scout off here, and he is not going to see anything untoward in this base. So he's got to know that Revival is not playing anything fancy and is just going for normal sort of stuff. But he is going for a ton of workers and really, really pushing out the worker numbers right now. ByuL is going for a ton of lings, however, and it looks like he's going to sync it up for ling speed, and he's going to be pushing in and doing quite a lot of damage. So Revival right now, not with a lot of lings. In fact, he has no lings out on the field. Does have a lot of minerals saved up. If he builds a third base, he's hopelessly screwed at this point. But if he saves these up and builds something else, it looks like he does have some idea of what's going on. Building a bunch of spine crawlers, moving all of his workers back, fully walling this off. So he's definitely got some idea. The Overlord's obviously doing their job, getting the scouting out. And he may lose the expansion right here, which of course would be horrible. But ByuL right now, not realizing the situation, not realizing this is a meat grinder right here, that moving his lings in there is just a horrible, horrible decision. So ByuL sending many, many lings down there to die without really doing anything. Maybe thought that pushing through that was a good idea. It was definitely not a good idea, and lost some valuable time. He could have been attacking the base. I don't know if he would have been able to take it out because the queens would have just come down, done major amounts of DPS. But yeah, Revival so far doing a great job holding this off. The lings do start to come around for the base. They're going to try their very best to take it down. And there are so many lings from ByuL that I think he's actually going to make it happen here. He took out all the other lings. He's going to try and hit the queens here. And he's got enough lings to hit the queens and to hit the hatchery at the same time. And there we go. One queen goes down. The other queen does go down. And the lings are going to get out of there. So the expansion going down. And ByuL just doing a fantastic job of taking that out. But he's still 10 workers behind. So taking the expansion down does not necessarily mean that Revival's economy is screwed. Revival is still definitely in this game as far as the economy is concerned. And the queen's finally going down. The ling's going to push through. But at this point, there are only 5 of them there, and there's another queen down here. So they're not going to be able to kill too many workers, maybe a few up here. But I think that's pretty much it, pretty much done. And ByuL has switched over to producing harvesters at this point. So very, very good job. He's doing exactly what he needs to do. The only thing he has to worry about is the counter right now. And he's already got 2 spine crawlers popping up there. Maybe doing what Revival did, blocking off this ramp, would not be a bad idea at all. So some extra queens would not be a bad idea as well. And Revival jumping straight into the roaches. So he got a roach warren at some point, and now he's looking good. There we go. The queen's up here, not quite blocking off the ramp though. He needs to get this other queen. It's just that queen very, very much delayed in terms of getting to the ramp, and the spine crawler's coming up just a little bit too late. So ByuL just not quite prepared in terms of the counter, in terms of the timing on it. And now he's going to suffer the consequences. A lot of workers are going to die right here. He's putting up some of his own lings there, but really needs queens to start to push these guys back. Does get them down, but those workers that died there, like 5 or 6 of them, should not have died. Actually only 2 workers died, but you really, really should have moved the queen over a lot sooner, blocked off this ramp, and then he would have been absolutely golden. But he did let some lings in there, and it was definitely not a good idea. But anyway, ByuL definitely get the workers out. Revival still had a decent amount of workers, so they're doing a pretty good job here. The lings managing to run through, but with roaches on the field, the lings are just not all that good as far as taking out any sort of unit. So they've basically just been negated down to scouting. ByuL, we've seen him get out to the baling nest. He's getting the lair out now, so mutiling is definitely a possibility, but we'll have to see what Revival does, because if he does go for mutiling, then Revival needs to start pushing hard with the roaches, needs to make some very, very hard attacks very, very soon. He cannot sit back and just go roach hydra or just build a ton of roaches or sit back and wait for his economy to get up. If mutas are coming out, then we need to get the roaches out, and they need to start destroying stuff ASAP, because once the mutas are out on the field, roaches will be just as ineffectual as the lings just became when Revival started putting roaches out. So it needs to happen, and it needs to happen fast. And we will see. I am assuming that Revival is just not going to sit back and... I mean, he's going to go for a 3rd base, definitely, but with all these roaches, and with no sign of a roach warren in ByuL's base, he has seen a lot of what happening. He's seen the lair come out. He hasn't seen a roach warren, so he can guess that mutas are on the way. That means that he needs to make use of his roaches while he has them, while they are the best military unit on the field. He needs to make use of them, and that means moving in there right now, taking some shit out. There are 3 spine crawlers here. Am I zoomed out? I do. Nah. Anyway, a bunch of lings coming in. They're going to get owned very, very quickly. And here we go, Revival coming in. There are 3 spine crawlers with a 4th up. I think that may be too much for him to overcome, but if that's so, then ByuL has just bought himself a massive advantage, because, yeah, the mutas are just going to be so good in this game against the roaches, and if Revival can't make something happen soon, then the mutas are going to come out and he's just going to start getting owned. And he has to think, what am I going to get? I mean, he's getting a 3rd base, and that is going to help quite a bit. But really, really, I mean, these roaches are just wasted at the moment. Really needs to start making use of them. Here is a perfect example of where those roaches could be used. He does know about this. He's got the Overlord scouting it, so he moves in, takes out the 3rd base. ByuL is not quite ready to repel against the roaches. He's still got to get his mutas up. I don't think he's built any mutas yet. He's building 7 of them at the moment, which is a good start. Here we go, the roaches coming back, and Revival pulling his entire roach force back. I gotta say, Revival, I don't think he's using those roaches correctly at the moment. They should have been going out there. They should have sniped this base while they had the chance. Instead, he pulled the entire lot back to defend against those lings. I don't think he needed to. I think the small group of roaches there would have been enough. And now he's finally moving out, but it's just too late. It's far too late to be sending the roaches in. He's got a very, very decent amount with all these spine crawlers. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to do the damage that he needs to. Fair enough, he could push past the spine crawlers before, but he could have hit the 3rd base, and I think hitting the 3rd base would have been a great idea. And now what's he going for? Going for the Spire maybe, or just going for workers. Either way, not a bad option, but he's taking so many losses here. So many roach losses, and it's just such a bad situation. Here we go, roaches coming in. Does he have enough to actually take this out before his roaches get owned? I do not know. I think he possibly does. And if he does, then that is going to be at least something. He's going to have something on his side, but it's just man. There we go. So he's took that out, took a bunch of workers out, and that is at least something. But now he's got to defend against the mutas, and he does have a workers count, so he defeated a whole bunch of ByuL's workers. Now he's got the worker advantage. He's continuing to build workers. He's got spine crawlers everywhere. Sorry, spore crawlers everywhere, and that is going to help quite a bit. So yeah, this one's not quite ready yet, and the mutas are going to get free reign to start. We're actually going to be able to take out the spore crawler here. Very, very, very nice. They're going to take out this one as well, is trying to set it up. And there are enough mutas to take out the queens here, so all they're going to be worried about is the spore crawlers, and they're going to be fine. The mutas are starting to get taken out little by little, but with only queens to really defend against this, and with spore crawlers not in a very good position right here, not quite set up. The mutas are just having the time of their life right here, taking out this base, and if this base goes down, then ByuL is definitely going to be in an excellent position. Needs to get his worker count up a little bit, because Revival has started to come out in front on that side. But Ling's moving in here, and ByuL looking to take out a ton of stuff. And if he starts taking workers out right here, then he is going to be in a sensational position. The muta's just taking care of all the roaches, but maybe not fast enough, and the roach is doing a great job of taking the lings out. So mutas, if the lings can get in and kill all the workers, that is going to be great. And the mutas just have to make sure that they take out the roaches. They got an overseer over here, which is helping a lot to destroy those roach numbers, and the roaches are really going down. And now ByuL is free to attack the main base. Well, not as free as he thought. There's so many roaches here, and spore crawlers. Maybe the mutas could hit that one spore crawler, but I think there's probably another spore crawler in the main base as well. But here, it's just all sorts of messed up, man. All sorts of messed up. ByuL continuing to produce mutas and lings, but I'm not sure how much more he can do. He got the expansion down. There's 2 spore crawlers over here. There are 2 spore crawlers over here, and 3 actually, and there is a Hydralisk den coming out. So ByuL, this is the point where he needs to pull back and start macroing. He's taken out one of Revival's bases, and that is a great point to be at. It's a great situation to be at. He's definitely evened him out on the base side of things. Now he needs to even himself out on the economic side of things. He's going to continue to try and push in here. Now the Hydras are on the playing field, and he's still going to continue to try and hit them, but the damage being taken to his Mutalisk is going to start to get more and more heavy, and eventually it's just going to start to get it just cannot be managed at that point. It just can't be managed, but he's going to continue to try here, and he ends up losing his third base to the roaches because he did not pull back. He's continued to stay out there, and I think at that point, if he had pulled back like a minute before, started pushing out workers, the mutas could have held off that roach attack. Perhaps he would have still had a third base. If he takes this out, yeah, maybe it can be worth it to lose that other third base, but I think the mutas just waited too long out there. And he's still continued to go on the attack with 35 workers. I think he needs to reevaluate his priorities right here. I mean, with Hydras out on the map, with Revival still looking like he's holding off all these attacks, ByuL needs to say, when do I go and actually start building my worker numbers up? Because he has to know that Revival does have a very, very decent amount of workers right here. And he's still getting a ton of economy out here. And the roaches are just holding off muta attacks so well. And they're surviving. They're doing a great job. They're surviving. There are Hydras on the map. There's now an infestation pit. ByuL needs to pull back and start macroing up and start sorting out his own base. I mean, those roaches absolutely owned his third base. There was no resistance at all when those roaches owned his third base. So, Revival, I mean, ByuL, I think he needs to pull back. He's been doing a great job out the front, but at some point, I don't know. It's just, at some point, it's just, I don't know. I can't say he's doing a horrible job here. Absolutely not, because he's continuing to do good stuff. He's taken out the bases over and over and over again. He's taken that base out like 3 times so far. His muta forces are continuing to push Revival back. Revival is not owning these forces. He is just holding on. And in the end, just buildings just keep on getting destroyed. And ByuL is making it happen with his 35 workers. With the muta force, he's starting to lose some forces. And the muta numbers here are quite scary, but he is taking them out continuously. So, yeah, I mean, my guess would have been he would take out that third base, or take out when he took out the expansion for the first time, pull back, re-macro up. ByuL did not decide to do that. Instead decided to continue the harassment. Oh, the Banelings pushing through. They want to hit the mutas. They want to hit the Hydras here. They're doing a pretty good job. Hit a fair few Hydras over there. Hydras hiding up the backside. Their Lings continuing to come in. And the Spore Crawler is going to get taken out here. But the Hydras, oh man. Revival just continuing to get out the Hydras. The muta numbers are starting to look a little bit low. He just went from 7 to 5. And ByuL, he stretched it. He stretched it for a very long time. But I think this is it. I don't think he can hold on very long. And I think he needs to fall back and just get the hell out of there, because he's finally been defeated. His offensive force has finally been defeated, and now it's just up to Revival to sort of hold on, try and get as many mutas as possible, and ByuL needs to get those worker numbers out. Absolutely needs to. I mean, he's killed a fair few workers here. He's back down to 40. ByuL is getting a few workers out there, but I think he should push hard on the workers, like quite hard, very hard. He still does have to worry about Revival coming across, but Revival's main focus right now has got to be a third base. It has got to be a third base right now, and ByuL already has his third base, so he can count on a little bit of slack right here, where Revival is going to be getting his third base up, getting it fortified, getting the Spore Crawlers all over the place, and that spare time ByuL can use to push out with the workers to get a nice worker advantage, to get up to like maybe the 50 mark or something like that. Just get out in a beautiful position, and in about 3 or 4 minutes just come out guns blazing with a massive army that he has got with his massive amount of macro. Look what he's doing here. He's hitting eggs. That's a huge waste right there. He could have been taking out something, and now he's thinking about hitting the army. I mean, that attack could have been beautiful. It could have been sniping the Hydralisk Den. If he takes out the Hydralisk Den, that's quite a good job. But right now, he seems to be continually focused on taking out the army, on doing good hits on Revival's army, where I'd say just don't even bother. I mean, you've got a great position right here. Well, he had a great position right here. He's been forced to fall back by Revival's army, but you can see he's got the more mobile force, and doing stuff like sniping the Hydralisk Den, I think is definitely possible. Usually, it's very hard to make that sort of stuff happen, but ByuL definitely has that possibility. And he needs to make use of that, because in a one-on-one attack versus these guys, I don't think ByuL can stand up. I don't think his mutaling force can make anything happen versus the Hydra. So he's got to do hit-and-run attacks. But his mutas are spending too much time just sort of fart-assing around, and even worse, actually trying to hit the main army. Whereas there are juicy targets out here, the workers mining the gas, the Hydralisk Den itself, where he could go in and just make it happen with the mutas, but he's choosing to try and hit the actual army itself. And Revival wants to move out, but ByuL, obviously ByuL is, I don't know, I just do not know. I mean, I'm fairly certain if he started to attack the Hydralisk Den, that Revival would probably come back and defend it. Because, I mean, definitely ByuL's #1 priority right now is to make sure that Revival doesn't get his army all the way across the map to attack him. Because ByuL is going to get owned right here. So he's got to make sure that these guys pull back. But at the same time, I mean, attacking the army is only going to be very, very limited in terms of making that happen. I think it's maybe too late here. I don't know if Revival is going to come all the way back. Looks like he is, though. Looks like ByuL is pulling him back, which is very, very interesting. I thought a Revival would have just gone nuts on here. I mean, we got Spore Crawlers all over the place, so should be able to hold, but here we go. The mutas getting owned. ByuL has hung around for too long, but he has accomplished his mission, which is to pull Revival's main army back, and he's continuing to go for a ton of Mutalisks here. Building a ton of Mutalisks. What is his, what are we looking at? Income. So ByuL has got a bit of an advantage, but not because he built a ton of workers, simply because he killed a ton of Revival's workers, and I just do not know, man. I think ByuL is going to end up screwing this up, because mutas are not designed to form the main army. They are designed to be accompanying the main army, to be great harassment units, to just do lightning strikes everywhere, but they are not the main army. And right now ByuL is not producing anything else to deal with the Hydras, with the roaches. I don't know if Mutaling would work against this force. I think Banelings would absolutely destroy Hydras. I think is a really great option. We can see Revival even splitting up his forces because he's expecting Banelings at some point, but ByuL is not doing that. ByuL is not... Here we go. He's going for the Hydralisk Den here. Should be able to take it out, which is nice. But she maybe... Oh, no. Could not quite get it. The Hydra's got in range. And ByuL, I mean, he needs to work on something else. Look at that. Revival even getting a second Hydralisk Den. He is very, very worried. And he knows he can't defend this back post forever. So there we go. The Muta's going to be taking stuff out. Do the Hydras actually have... Hydras don't have speed, man. Hydras have been around for like a million years and they do not have the speed or the ranged bonus for that matter. So Revival, man. Wait, what am I talking about? Over here, I'm looking at ByuL's side. Revival does have all of that crap. No. I think that's Roach speed, actually. So Revival doesn't have Hydra speed. He does have Roach speed. You see the Roaches are going like nuts, but the Hydras do not have speed. So definitely needs to get that for them. But man, I mean, ByuL is holding on here with this mass muta approach because Revival is not moving all out across the map. I mean, if Revival starts to double prong this sort of stuff, if he starts to get enough Hydras and Infestors at his back base where he can move out with a ton of Roaches to the front, start attacking Revival's bases, but still be comfortable enough that he has enough at the back to defend, then Revival is going to win the game because ByuL has nothing that can directly match this Roach Hydra army. He just doesn't. The Mutas are going to get shredded and the Infestors are not helping anything at all. So yeah, there it goes. But I mean, as long as ByuL keeps going in here, keeps putting Revival on the back foot, then he is going to make things happen. And this pure Muta army is actually doing stuff because Revival seems quite happy to sit on the back foot, to let himself be 2-pronged and 3-pronged and all over that stuff, all over the place. And yeah, so Revival, he needs to make the hard choices. He needs to say, I've got to move out with my army, start taking some stuff out, and just let whatever happens at my main base happen, because he cannot sit defensively. He's got one army, and even splitting these guys up into 3 might help, but then he would still be defensively, and he needs to be aggressive. Absolutely 100% needs to be aggressive right here. Because right now, ByuL has just been pushing out so hard. He hasn't even been pushing out workers, just continuing to produce mutas, but he's been knocking down enough of Revival's worker force to just be consigning him to a slow death. And Revival seems to be happy to be consigned to this slow death right now. He's like, I got to get a little bit more, I got to get a little bit more, but he almost had it. He had his force all the way over there, and then he came back to defend. Where he really needed to push in. He really needed to take it to ByuL's base. Because the thing is, if your army is out there, then the only thing that ByuL can attack is your army, and he's going to get owned by Hydras. If you're defending, there's so much different stuff the mutas can attack, and the Hydras are nowhere to be seen. So your Hydras are basically so ineffectual if you're defending. If you're attacking, if you're getting out there and actually attacking buildings on your opponent's base, then suddenly the Hydras are so much more effective. And if it comes to a base race, then I think the Hydras will probably have the advantage. Because mutas, I mean, they're good, but they're not that good at destroying buildings. Not as good as the Hydras and stuff. But Revival is quite happy to fall back. Whenever he sees the mutas in his base, he just falls back. And he is his own worst enemy, I think. He needs to just say, alright, I'm going out, I'm pushing out, I'm going to make something happen here. And not be so timid. I gotta say, he's just got to go for it. And he's got to say, whatever happens back on my base will happen. And just let it happen and just go for it. We'll see now. He's moving back again. There's no... These guys can take out the hatchery and be out of there before his main army gets back. But he still pulls back. So it's just not going to help him here. He just has to make the move and destroy stuff. I suppose at this point of the game, he's lost enough to where if a base race actually happened, he would probably get owned by the mutas, because he just doesn't have enough workers left. And Revival just has so many... Sorry, ByuL just has so many mutas and so many buildings. So at this stage, yes, I would agree. Revival, if he goes for a base race, he is going to lose, but That's because he's been defensive for the whole game. Before ByuL was on 4 bases, when they were both on 3 bases, Revival should have made some attacks sooner. Should have got out there a lot faster and did some stuff. But now he is completely screwed. Look at this. The hatchery is going to go down. No way that Revival can save that. Absolutely no way at all. And we do have some fungals here for Revival. So managed to catch that guy. And maybe he can start to do some stuff like that. Maybe get some infestors hiding. Get some fungals out. Just chain fungal his way into a victory. But I don't think defensively he can win this. I really, really don't. I think it's just not going to happen. And yeah. So we will see. I mean, we can see right here. ByuL just wants to run around the side. Go down here. Start taking that base out when the force is enough far out. And Revival is not making a hard push on ByuL's base. He's sort of sitting out in the middle. Just biding his time. Waiting for a good opportunity, but there's never, ever, ever going to be a good opportunity in this game for Revival. There's just going to be crap opportunities, and he just has to make the most of them and move out regardless, because there's never going to be easy for him to win this game, and in fact, it may be impossible at this point. So here we go, the muta's coming around, and once again he pulls back. So ByuL is just playing here right there. He absolutely knows exactly what he needs to do. He absolutely knows exactly what Revival's going to do. And he's just going in and taking out buildings. And Revival is just completely marching to ByuL's tune at the moment. And Revival could... It's hard. I don't know. I mean, he's got a ton of spores here, which is great. I don't know if it's enough to hold off those mutas, but it's enough to make them get very, very worried. Maybe like 4 or 5 more spores over there would help, and then just move out with the army. I mean, if you've got the spores out, if this is your play to get a bunch of spore crawlers out there and to try and hold off, then make use of it. Move your main army out there and start hitting ByuL's bases. But he's not, even though he's got this little anti-air fortress here, he still is not committed, and I think this is one of his last chances to commit out here. To get it done, he's finally moving in, and looks like ByuL is not even moving his mutas over. He's going to be attacking down here. Revival continuing to try and trap the mutas, but trying to chase the mutas and get in a position where he can actually take them out is just a horrendously bad idea. Mutas are so fast, so mobile. Trying to catch them is just a complete waste of time. You need to give them a reason to go back and defend their own base, and the only way you can do that is by attacking it. So here he goes, moving in. ByuL is probably just going to attack this base, may overcome all of the spore crawlers, may not, but I think he probably will. Meanwhile, Revival finally going in, finally taking this up, and look at this, ByuL has spent his time very, very wisely. He's got so many spine crawlers here, and Revival is taking so much damage here, but he's got to push this over. He's got to knock this over. But I think ByuL, with all these defenses, I think he should be fine. Although now ByuL is being a little bit worried. He's not going for this base, and I think he should. I think even with all these spores here, I think he should. I think he should just take it down to a base race. I mean, there's 1 base versus 4, so a base race is a very, very easy decision for ByuL. He's waiting for the Banelings to come in for some reason. Waiting for them. And the Banelings do come in. And here we go. So many spores right here. The mutas just need to hit the spores right here. Just need to take them out. I mean, the muta numbers are going down. But he's still got 18 of the bastards. 16, 15, 14. And he's actually left right here. How many spore crawlers were there? We must have not been able to see. 5 left. So there were way more spore crawlers than we thought, and the mutas absolutely got owned there. So Revival's play in this game turned out to be a good one, which is completely surrounding that. And ByuL, I thought for a sec he actually could overwhelm those spore crawlers, but obviously I was wrong. There were just way too many, whole bunch hidden under there. There must have been like 8 or 9 total or something like that, and it was just completely impregnable. And I can start to see why ByuL was messing around a little bit in the middle. It's like, should I attack the base? Should I attack the army? Neither one was a very good option at this point. He chose to attack the base, which is what I thought he should do, but I underestimated the amount of spore crawlers there, and he ended up, his entire army just got absolutely demolished. So there we go. Game done, and Revival somehow managed to take that game out. So very, very nice job there, but In terms of pure muta harassment in a Masters level game, haven't seen it before too much. It's always muta's harassment and then a bunch of lings and stuff backing it up. So it's like mutaling or something like that, or mutas and something else. But this was pure muta from ByuL with a little bit of lings on the side, and he made it work really, really well. And Revival helped him a lot because Revival didn't want to leave his base, and it was so easy for ByuL to get that pure muta harassment going. But yep, that's basically the way it went down. So congratulations to Revival for sticking it out and for making this nice play with the Spore Quellers, which eventually did defeat ByuL. So there was no way he was going to win at that point. Once there was fully surrounded, I mean, he may have moved in with lings, but there were roaches sitting back at that base. So he was quite fine. He was quite fine at that point. There was even some Bailings rolling in to try and help the situation, but it just wasn't going to happen at that point. And that's it. I mean, in the end, mutas alone cannot handle attacking an army, and it turns out they cannot attack a base surrounded by Spore Crawlers. So you can, I mean, winning with pure mutas is basically impossible against a Masters level player if they know what they're doing. You gotta have something else. So anyway, game done. Thank you very much for watching this game, and I definitely hope you enjoyed it. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another game. Stay tuned.